back out here in the Fort Worth Prairie Park. I just got back from Los Angeles, California, and I had some time to do some thinking out there. I took my son, little Caden, he's a little surfer man, took him out there with me, and we were talking about some martial arts, our philosophies while we were out there. He's really into some of that, and he helps his daddy with his work. And the key point, right before I left, I was just so stressed out and pushed to the wall on a lot of things, but I feel reinvigorated back now, coming back. And what I wanted to say was, a lot of times people allow others to diminish their dignity or their integrity and who they are, and then it makes you feel weaker. Sometimes that we end up even doing that to ourselves. So from a martial artist standpoint, at least personally, I decided to re-become the ninja that I used to be. I think so many of us have gotten so beaten down by so many circumstances, and then all that does is help those who want to keep us down, keep us from moving forward to something like protecting this fiercely beautiful Fort Worth Prairie Park and having our inner city youth and Indian reservation youth and youth from all colors, cultures, and communities start working together to build that green, living, breathing future that we're all talking about. So anyway, on a personal level, I know I was really sick and almost died this past January and February, and I had previously talked about how death was so inconvenient because I had so much work to do. And I also, was talking about at that point, we had been fighting to get the city council to help us to protect this place, and while some council members did, ultimately most of them didn't. Thank God for the Tarrant County who has been helping us in private individuals. But it felt like, just like death is inconvenient, emasculation is inconvenient. It is so inconvenient. When I go to the city council, I feel like I'm in the master's court. That, yes sir. It's like, rather than we should all be people working together to protect something, and really so thriving about how we can work together and protect something that nobody else in the world has anywhere else. This Fort Worth Prairie ecosystem is different and more unique than any other place. So on a personal tip, I will say I've been down, but I am still blessed, and death and emasculation still are very inconvenient. And sometimes I think I see the buffalo out there. Sometimes she's pregnant. Sorry, so I got distracted. But sometimes we allow ourselves to get into a rut, and I think that if we can just find ways to always focus on our own personal health, that will give us the anchor to be strong enough, stronger, not just as go to meet the next day, but to do the work that we need to do. And I think that we also, I was talking like with my son, he still needs to learn how to think before he acts. And I think, as adults, we can also think before we react, because we don't have to let anybody do anything to us that we don't want to. And part of that means really just being on point and being that ninja in this crazy war-torn world, because there's war against people, war against the earth, war against the water, but there's also this incredible interwoven thread of goodness and beauty in people that allows us the opportunity to reverse that diminishment of our dignity. I guess it comes from the self as much as it comes from anywhere else. So I know that I'm probably about to hit a firestorm. My book, like I said, is coming out real soon. I just mentioned that in the last couple of days it's at the printers, and people are going to probably attack me about my sexuality. I cannot even really still say that, talk about that, or about my past, what I had to do to survive. But I'm out here, as well as lots of others, doing the work we need to do to move forward and really build a sustainable, green, living, breathing society. So this place here is still living and breathing. I'm 6 feet tall. Look how high this grass is, almost 8 feet high. Big blue stem. This place is still living and breathing. 1,000 years from now. And 1,000 years to the Fort Worth Prairie right here, this land, is still a small amount of time. That's the type of moral values I'm talking about. Our kids are coming out here on Saturday for my youth program. And some of them will be their first time out here. They're going to be amazed. But 1,000 years is still a small time when you think that this grassland has been living and breathing for over hot and cold seasons and thawing and wind and changes. It has been prairie for over 1,000,000 years. So if we can protect it, this is our door and our bridge into the future. I think it's setting an example. But as long as we do not diminish or allow anybody to diminish our dignity, to emasculate us in any way, and as long as we don't participate, and that's something of the hardest part, because people take that power over you, keep you down, and sometimes you may have had rougher things in life, so your confidence is a little shaken. But by working with each other and really staying physically healthy and taking the time to connect to where you're at, whether it's the prairie or somewhere else in some other place, ocean, desert, swamp, wetlands, even your own bloodstream, your own family, your kids, your community. Spirit is the ultimate wilderness, that's all I gotta say. And taking care of your own health is the most radical thing you can do. So that's what living and breathing